Hey, y'all, you're doing okay? Well, I'm doing all right as well. I'm glad you asked. Listen, we are live today. We are talking about prayer in schools, and how bad of an idea I believe it is. And I think most of you who've ever heard my talking points on it understand where I am when I say bringing prayer back in school is a bad idea. And even those who are on the conservative right, some of those who are Christians themselves, are really bringing out the truth of why this is so bad, and I'm glad that they're doing this because we get so excited about something and we have a zeal, but it's showing according to knowledge. I've seen about 60.
You good. You good. You good. You good. Don't stop it.
Bass.
It's the show that will get you thinking, and where the topics are hot. Feel free to comment whether we agree or not, 'cause he's got something to say.
Sir Walter Jones. Sir Walter Jones.
He's got something to say. Sir Walter Jones.
Sir Walter Jones.
Report live 7 days a week, always on time, but his time is not free. Sir Walter Jones, always on fleek. Latest trending topics had you jumping out your seat.
He's got something to say.
Come
On in, boys. The water is fine.
Hello, everybody. It's the Walter Jones Show. I'm here. It is the Midday Connection, baby. How y'all is? Come on in, Water Fine. Listen, y'all, I'm not going to be here very long. I always say that, and I turn out to be a false prophet. I'm a little early today because I got to go get my hair cut, you understand, because I got to go meet the bunkers, and I will be in Indianapolis starting tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'll see quite a few of my Indiana folks. The whole thing about prayer in schools is a problem, and I know I grew up listening to pastors and missionaries and elders and what have you talk about they wish that Madam O'Hare hadn't did what she did, and it was a shame, and the devil came and blah blah blah. Let me tell y'all something. No, I know she was an atheist, and let's go to Wikipedia and we could talk about this. But let me tell you, I thank God that she was able to get that thing out of there. I'm so glad, because when I was young, I didn't understand it. I lined up with those who baby boomers, where they were mostly I'm sorry, what's that generation? That silent generation was, I remember my great grandfather. So yes, the silent generation. I remember my I remember my grandfather, then I remember my great-grandfather. Yeah, so my great-grandfather. I remember them talking about that. Then my grandfather was talking about it, all right? And I agreed with it until I said, you know what? That's going to be a problem. Let's look at the news here, the nightly news, as they are focusing on it.
Appreciate it. The U.S. and Ukraine announced that long-awaited economic for the deal as a way to allow Oklahoma to U.S. for aid to Ukraine. The Supreme Court today heard arguments on one of its highest profile cases this term. They're considering whether to allow Oklahoma to approve the nation's first publicly funded religious charter school. Here's Laura Jarrett.
Oklahoma School Superintendent Ryan Walters is on a mission.
We're bringing the Bible back to school, we're bringing prayer back to school, and we're going to be the first to offer religious charter schools.
If Walters is successful, St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School would be the first of its kind, the only taxpayer-funded religious charter school in the country. Walters says it's about giving parents more choices.
It's up to a parent to decide if they'd send their kid to that school. If a parent doesn't want to, obviously don't send your kids to that school.
Critics say this type of plan chips away at the separation between church and state.
There it is right there. I can't understand how a person can be in government position, sitting in the seat like a senator and a congressperson, and even if they're a mayor or a governor, a council person, an older person, How could you be sitting in who voted for you that you can't understand the whole purpose of the Constitution of the United States? The separation of church and state is an important one because I know we fight over Thomas Jefferson, we fight over, is it in the Constitution, on and on, but it was a good thing to separate it because the origins of separation of church and state is to protect the church. Maybe you didn't know that. It is to protect the church, to separate the church from government, because when government gets involved in the church, it taints the church. That's the whole reason behind separation of church and state. Not because you Christians want Christianity in the government. You don't want Christianity in the government. As crazy as that sounds from a Christian, you don't want Christianity in the government because Constantine should be a perfect example of an emperor taking a religion and making it law. Hence the Catholic Church and the Inquisitions and the Crusades and the witch burnings and the conquistadors and all of the history that you know. You don't want government involved in Christianity or religion, period. Let's see what they say.
And ultimately could change how funds are used for public education nationwide. Oklahoma's Attorney General Gentner Drummond, a Republican, sued to block the school's approval, pointing to Oklahoma law, which, like dozens of other states, requires charter schools to remain secular.
Oklahomans do not want to fund religious schools. They don't want the state to get in the business of funding one religion, because if we fund one, then we have to fund all.
Bam! Right there. Right there. If you fund one part of religion, Christianity, there are three major religions, as y'all know, and there's a whole bunch of other smaller religions. If you fund one, you've got to fund them all. This is a bad idea. Bad idea. And the whole fact, Carolyn Wrong, of the 501c3, that in itself was a bad idea, because the separation of church and state did not stop the 501c3, and the 501c3 is the reason why we should not have gotten involved, because the 501c3 was basically telling us that the church wasn't strong enough to raise up its own theocracy and strength, because at one time the government went to the church for things that it needed. The government went to the church for bailouts and for all kind of stuff. Back in the early days of the origins of the 13 colonies, the church was an important part of it. But why is it that the founders of the country did not want to include God or Christ in the document? Christ is nowhere in there, and when God is mentioned, it is a side note. Nature's God. Okay, well, what God are they talking about? The "in God we trust" is not in the Constitution. That didn't come around until the 1950s through, I don't know, was it Eisenhower who inserted that in the thing that we used to say, that we used to quote in school. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible. There was no in God, under God. There was no under God. It was inserted, one nation, then they inserted it many years later, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice, blah, blah, blah. Now, who is this God, though? We don't know who this God is. We're not sure. Are you talking about the Christians' God? Well, depend if you're a Christian. But if you are Buddhist, if you are Hindu, if you are Muslim, then you're talking about their God. It's easy to say God, but if they had said under Christ, there's no way they could have got that in there. No way. Yeah, it would be confusing. Come on, Kelly. That's it. So let's see what he's saying. So the 501c3, what I was talking about, the 501c3 is actually telling you most churches don't read the whole document. They don't read the bullet points on the 501c3. But the 501c3 is telling the church that the government is the God of the church, not God himself. The 501c3 removes God. And the document literally says that the church is a creature of the state. Like a child is a ward of the state. What do they call it? The child that is an orphan or what have you, and the state is supporting it. That's what the 501c3 is literally saying. This is why you have restrictions in politics, the churches. If you are a 501c3, you are restricted. Y'all keep getting the church and the state involved in its affairs, you're gonna have an explosion.
And it's just a slippery slope.
This debate now in the hands of the U.S. Supreme Court. The justices today hearing oral arguments appearing divided over the school's constitutionality. Back in Oklahoma, Erin Brewer, a mom of 2 teens, says the stakes of the high court's ruling go well beyond St. Isidore.
For the government to choose a particular religion, to force us as taxpayers to fund it, or to force us as students to study those tenets, that is un-American. I value my faith, and I have been really proud to impart it to my children, but I don't need the government's help.
And Laura, when can we expect a decision on this?
Yeah, a ruling here likely expected at the end of June or beginning of July. That's when the court's term typically ends, and they hand down all the big decisions. Another one to watch for, Lester. In 2 weeks, the justices are set to take up the question of the president's executive order on birthright citizenship. That one likely to come at the end of the term as well.
Okay, Laura, thank you.
I would not want to be the Supreme Court right now. No way. All right, because they push for him to have total immunity in a sense, President Trump, but they didn't realize President Trump is going to die one day, and the next president's going to come in, and then it's going to be someone that they don't like, and then what they did was they gave him total immunity. All right, with some little exceptions to the rule. How can you have total immunity and then have some exceptions to the rule? It's a whole mess. But notice what she said. I don't want the government in the affairs of the church. All right, Global Impact, good to see you. Yeah, I don't want the government telling me what I can do or cannot do as it pertains to how I worship God. Because once you get the government involved in church affairs, then it is a slippery slope, because you've got those who are going to push all kinds of things. It's like bringing in just anybody from the outside to teach Bible study at your church. That's what you're doing. You bringing anybody in from off the street, a politician, to do Bible study at your church. Don't no church do that? Then again, y'all do. Warnock down in Atlanta. It's almost like the people still want another king instead of God. Yep. And did we not learn from the beginning? I'm telling you, Roberts, we keep forgetting. Lady T, we keep it's amazing what we have forgot. We keep being deemed to repeat this bad history. Let's look at the First Amendment here. Okay. What does it say? First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Congress shall make no law. No law. All right? No law. Congress shall make no law. That is important, y'all. Congress shall make no law respecting and establishing of religion. You got to read that slow. The whole man speaks. Blessings to you. Or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. It's telling you in that first line, that first sentence, bridging the freedom for me to talk the way I'm doing right now is because the First Amendment allows me to do what I'm doing on the Sir Walter Jones Show. The speech, or press, or the right of the people, not just to assemble, but to peaceably assemble, and to petition the government for redress of what? Grievances. This is why we have courts. That amendment right there is one of the most important amendments in all of them. It is so vital. All right. So let's see what AI says here. The First Amendment to the Constitution guarantees several fundamental rights, including freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, and the right. Okay. It prevents the government from establishing a national religion, interfering with the free exercise of religion, freedom of, okay, got that. So the freedom of religion, this protects individuals' rights, practice and or not practice any religion they choose, and prevents the government from establishing a state religion. So this is why the Church of Satan, I support their right of Satan worshippers to have their own religion. I support their right as a gospel preacher of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I support the right of Satan worshipers to have their own religion. Because if I don't support their right, I am killing my right. And those of you who are not critical thinkers, you're gonna be still caught up in your churches, listening to people speak emotionally. They got the zeal, but they don't understand why someone like me will tell you, leave them alone as it pertains to government. Because if you don't get involved in protecting people, no matter what they do, you are going to lose your right. You understand? And so until we can figure this all out, let the demons worship at the house of demonology. And when they come out of their temples, be standing there on the outside and find a way to talk to them about the gospel of Jesus Christ. What's good for the goose? Come on, the whole man speaks. All right? Find a way to witness to them, the demon worshipers. Find a way. Just find a way. But if you let the government come in and tell them they cannot, they're coming to your house and tell you, you all got to shut those churches down. Or leave the church open, but we got to come in and we have got to tell you. We now have the right to tell you what you can say over your pulpit. You cannot preach against homosexuality. You cannot preach against abortion. And you cannot preach or speak against the ruler, the authoritarian, the king, or the president. You can't do it. And why will they be able to do that? Because you didn't protect the demon worshiper. That sounds crazy, don't it? That sounds so crazy. But if you disagree with me, that tells me you got the zeal, but it's not according to knowledge. Because there are things that Jesus didn't mess with. Jesus did not go into the government to upset anything in government. Where did he go? he went into the temple to whip the money changers for selling stuff in his father's house. But did you see him over there in the emperor's house, in the courts, in the Sanhedrin, among the Sanhedrin? Nope, you did not. You saw him in the church or the temple, or you saw him on the street sitting with the prostitutes and the publicans and people that everybody, the disciples hated them and the Pharisees hated them, and Jesus was sitting among them. Not cursing them, was he? No. He was sitting with them, dining with them, and showing his love to them. He stayed out of the courts. What you're trying to do is go after the stuff that Jesus said, I didn't do it. Why you got to do all that? No. He said, go ye therefore, teach, preach, make disciples. Don't worry about the government. Can you do civic stuff? Yes. It's called voting. You have a right. Romans chapter 13 tells us, Paul talks about the governing body, the messengers of God, to respect them because God has sent them. He wrote a letter to Timothy, said, pray for these people so that you might lead a peaceable life among them. But going in there and doing what y'all trying to do now, nope. I don't waste my time. Miscegenation. Lord, Tony, you trying to start a fire? Huh? Miscegenation is a word I would hear watching those old civil rights movies. And you hear a lot of that from the KKK and those Archie Bunker types. Miscegenation. All right. So let me go back here. Y'all going to learn something today. You're going to learn something today, whether you agree or not. You're going to learn something. Because this is why the disciples wanted Jesus to set up his kingdom. He wanted Jesus to go and unseat Caesar. Come on, Janae. You got it right there. As we talked at the same time. Jesus said, whose face is on that coin? They said, it's Caesar. Well, pay your taxes. Render to Caesar what's his. This belongs to him. What is my business trying to unseat Caesar? No, I'm going to die. And the day is going to come when my kingdom is coming. But right now, it ain't here. The whole man truth. Why you bringing fire, man? All right. I know, Tony. I know. Copeland said that the devil was black. Yeah, I remember that. Did I do that show, y'all? About? I think I did. I did. Freedom of religion. Okay, freedom of speech, freedom of press. Okay, y'all got all that. All right. Now let's go to the woman in question here. Madame. All right, Madame Murray O'Hare was somebody that I always heard about. She died 1995, y'all. When I was hearing about her, I thought she was already dead. I was hearing about her in the 70s and 80s, and I thought she was already dead. And I did a little search. I said, wait a minute, she's still alive. This was in the 90s, by the way. She dead now, but I'm like, wow. The woman y'all been talking about all this time, this woman is still alive. Was an American activist supporting atheism, separation of church and state, feminism, and Holocaust denial. In 1963, she founded the American Atheists and served as the president until 1986, after which her son, John Garth Murray, succeeded her. And she created the first issues of American Atheist magazines and identified as a militant feminist. Yeah, I remember her. And O'Hare was best known for the Murray v. Curlett lawsuit. So this is one of those lawsuits, you all. This is one of those rulings that you all may not know the name of it, but you sure talk about it. which challenged the policy of mandatory prayers and Bible reading in Baltimore public schools. I'll be there, y'all, in about 2 more weeks. In which she named her first son, William J. Murray, a plaintiff, consolidated with the Abigail School District versus Skimp. It was heard by the United States Supreme Court, which ruled that officially sanctioned mandatory Bible reading in American public schools was unconstitutional. The Supreme Court had prohibited officially sponsored prayers in schools in Engel versus Vitale on similar grounds, and after she founded the American Atheists and won the case, she achieved attention to the extent that in 1964, Life magazine referred to her as the most hated woman in America. And through the American Atheists, O'Hare filed numerous other suits on issues on separation of church and state. And 1995, O'Hare, her son and Garth, and her grandson, they disappeared. Austin, Texas. I saw some of y'all say she was murdered. Initial speculation suggested that the trio had absconded with hundreds of thousands of dollars from American Atheists' coffers. In fact, the trio had been murdered by their former associates. And the bodies were not found until 2001. Wow. Ain't that something? Deborah Harris, you're late. Go stand in the corner. You're going to have to send me $5 in the Cash App because that's a $5 late fee. All right, there's an early life. Let's see, activism and politics, feminism, Holocaust denial, American Atheists, court cases, kidnapping, murder, right here. August 1995, her son and her granddaughter disappeared from their home. A typewritten note was attached on the to the locked door. Family has been called out of town of emergency. We do not know how long we will be gone. Wow. When police entered the home, it looked as if they had left suddenly. The trio said in phone calls that they were on business, ordered $600,000 worth of gold coins from the jewelry, but took delivery of only $500,000. And until September 27, American Atheist employees received several mobile calls from Robin and John, but neither explained why they had left or when they would return. Employees reported that their voices sounded strained and disturbed, and no further communication came from any of the three. And American Atheist was facing serious financial problems because of the withdrawal of funds, and memberships dwindled in the face of an apparent scandal. There was speculation that the trio had disappeared in order to conceal its assets or avoid being contacted by creditors. This is the story I never knew. I never knew this. And then here goes the investigation and then the arrest. You all can read this. It's some interesting stories, an interesting story that many of you never knew, because I didn't know. Walt Waters was arrested and prosecuted. Wow. 3 weeks, Carl guilty of conspiracy to commit extortion. All right. Y'all read that when you get a chance. It's a crazy history, y'all. Didn't know. All right. What's going on with the light? What's going on with the light? It's a crazy history, and I did not know, again, that she had lived that long. Because, again, when my parents, my grandparents would talk about her, it's like she had died in the 60s. But I thank God that all of that happened, not her murder and all that stuff. No, I thank God that the atheists came in to save us. Cody, there's a movie about it. I'm going to have to check out the movie. I thank God that the atheists came and saved us. That's crazy, ain't it? To say, I'm saying some crazy stuff, right now, stuff I could have never said just 25 years ago. There's no way I would say this kind of stuff. But here's the thing. If the state had got involved and allowed one school to allow prayer, then the other religions would have said, hello. Because the church of Satan, get ready for them, because at the time of this administration becoming in office, if I say his name, a bell will go off, because whenever I say his name, I get a message. Somebody will say, hey, you say his name. So I got to be careful not to say his name. I got to be careful. So there is prayer that happens at the inauguration. There's prayer that happens in Congress. And it's typical of Christian prayer, but yet not, because at the end, you typically don't hear, in Jesus' name, amen. You'll hear, in his son's name, amen. Which is why, let's find the video. Let me find it. A man and a woman. Y'all know where I'm going, right?
May the Lord make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May the Lord lift up the light of his countenance upon us and give us peace. Peace in our families, peace across this land, and dare I ask, O Lord, peace even in this chamber, now and evermore. We ask it in the name of the monotheistic God, Brahma, and God known by many names, by many different faiths. A man and a woman.
That gets me every time. That thing messes me up every time. I can't continue the show. Oh my God. That was the most embarrassing thing any man has ever done in American history. He tried to appease everybody. No, Robert, you heard it. You heard it right here on the So Walter Jones Show, right? This is what stupidity is, all right? This is what biblical ignorance is right here. This is what happens when you try to assimilate, mesh in, appease, and pander to everybody. It's like trying to sell an item. You don't sell. If you try to sell to everybody, you are selling to nobody. You understand? You got to think about that. I'm successful because I talk to a niche audience. The Bunkers is a niche audience. Everybody can handle a Sir Walter Jones Show. Only the Bunkers can handle my kind of content and us. It's not for everybody. All right? So he tried to syncretize, pluralize, ecumenicalize the prayer and not to offend his Muslim counterparts in Congress and those who are watching. So he ends it with the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Theo, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He said, amen, which means it is so. It is confirmed. And then he said, and by the way, there's a woman. He said, at the end of it, Robert, you can't make this stuff up. He said, at the end of his sermon, at the end of his prayer, he said, all right, and after all that I've said, so let it be said, so let it be done. Oh, by the way, there's a woman. Whoo! I gotta go back there, y'all. I gotta go back. I gotta go back. That thing messes me up every time.
May the Lord make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May the Lord lift up the light of his countenance upon us and give us peace. Peace in our families, peace across this land, and dare I ask, O Lord, peace even in this chamber, now and evermore. We ask it in the name of the monotheistic God, Brahma, and God known by many names, by many different faiths. A man and a woman.
I can't finish this show. I've never been so taken back. Oh my God! Today, it's like your dog. You feeding your dog, and your dog is. You say, "Come here, boy. Come here, boy." And he's wagging his tail, and he's got his mind set on whatever you're getting ready to give him. And he's running to you. He's running to you, and it's by you and Fido. You and Fido having a great time in the front lawn, and he's running to you, and you're holding out, and then he sees a squirrel. Come on, Fido. And Fido like, squirrel. That's what he did here. He's involved in his prayer. He's invoking God. He's talking to the all these big words he's talking to. And he ended by saying, now abideth faith, now abideth love, now abideth hope. These things, charity, abridges not. And so I speak a blessing over this house. And all of you, I say to you, so let it be said, so let it be done. And by the way, there's a woman. Oh! That's exactly what he said, y'all. In context, that's what he said. Our man, he thinks that our woman is equivalent to our man. Somebody got to save me from this show. Huh? Who gonna save me from myself? Gail, somebody got to come save me. Somebody got to come get me. I need help. I need some milk. Man. Our woman. He tried to appease feminism. And what he did, he literally tried to appease feminism by bringing them in because the Bible is so male dominated. And so while he was praying with his mask on, he saw the women, Congress people sitting there with their heads bowed, and he thought, you know what? I got a great idea. It's so unique. This man said, you know what? I got a great idea. Now, God, I'm going to do this. And everybody in the chambers is going to applaud me. The whole world is going to love me because I'm going to bring in women into this male-dominated thing. Now, I want y'all to look at the faces of the two people at the end. Look at their faces. Did y'all see their faces? I gotta do it again. Hold up. Wait, hold up.
Names by many different faiths. Woman.
Look at their faces. Look at them. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. I'm dying in here. Hold on. What was I watching? I was watching Colbert. Who was I watching yesterday? Okay, right here.
Donald Trump.
Hold on. Let me see if I can go to it. Oh man, y'all, the music gonna end in a minute, but I got to go to this place. Wait. I wanna go. I got to go to the. Is he gonna bring it up? Whoo. Lord have mercy, y'all. Da, 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 da. Okay, right here. Right here. Did he play it? Ah, man, I missed it. Right here. I don't want to get snatched. I don't copyright. I don't want the copyright to snatch it. I don't want the copyright to snatch it. I have to play it on Patreon. It was so hilarious, y'all. The look on the guy who was talking to Donald Trump. I said his name. The look on his face when he talked about the Constitution. What do you think about the Constitution of the United States? I'm looking for y'all. Forget it. I'll find it tomorrow. Hey, for those of y'all who are gonna be with me, and I'm about to lose this thing. That's why I keep playing with it, but it's gonna fall. Let me fix it. For those of y'all who will be with me in Indianapolis, who's that? Johnson, you gonna be with me? Kelly Rowan gonna be with me? Johnson. Who else? Two Johnsons gonna be with me. Who else? Who else out there? Natalie. Who else? TP gonna be with me. All right, Sunday, let's have dinner. Meet me at the church. What's the address? Indianapolis. Meet me in Indianapolis, Tanya Parrott. What's the address? I thought I gave it to you. I don't, Lord, where is it? All right, I'll see y'all in Indianapolis. Greater Morning Star, 519 East 23rd Street. Greater Morning Star, 519 East 23rd Street. This Sunday, 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. Let's have dinner after that, all right? I'll see the rest of y'all in Atlanta next week, okay? Many of you who will be in Atlanta next week, Sheila Mahone, I'll see her in Atlanta next week. The 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, I'll be there all those days. Come have dinner with me, or let me come have dinner with y'all in Atlanta, all right? And then 23rd, I'll be in Maryland for you all. And then the 31st, I'll be in Houston. So this month, I'll see the bunkers. Take care, y'all. Go to patreon.com, So Walter Jones Show. Let's see what we got from the Lord. See y'all soon.
Fellas, does it seem like you can't get a good woman? Ladies, wonder why you can't keep a man? Then read The 4 Women That Men Desire, Volume 1, by Sir Walter Jones to figure out how to break the cycle. Go to Amazon.com to get your copy today.